Oh, blow the man down, bullies, blow the man down. Blow the man down.
5 strange seafaring superstitions. Superstitions abound in every corner of the world. To those who are not familiar with them, they seem odd and possibly even convoluted. Here are 5 superstitions that will get you in trouble if you ever try disregarding them at sea. Whistling. As annoying as it is, whistling is hardly considered dangerous. So imagine your surprise when one day, the captain of the ship you were just hired onto gives you a stern warning. If I ever catch you whistling again, I'll throw you over myself. What's the deal? Did a whistling stranger murdered his beloved pet or something? Nope. Turns out that among many of the superstitions of the sea, this is a big one. It is said that if you whistle whilst on a ship, you are taunting the sea wind. They go on to say that if you continue doing so in blatant disregard of warning, the sea will throw a massive storm your way to put you in your place, the bottom of the sea. The common theory as to the origin of this superstition comes down to how annoying whistling can be. Ships are small places, and if someone is whistling, there's nowhere to go on the ship to escape. If the whistling continues, those already in a stressed state may do something rash. Couple that with the fact that ship whistles were used to communicate information to the crew, whistling could cause many issues while out to sea, so it is best to just hum or even bring an instrument on board if you can't resist a musical urge. Pigs. I have a story for you. I come from a fishing family, and once, when my grandfather was young, he was in a dispute with another fisherman. So, to enact his revenge, he bought a wooden cutting board from the store that was in the shape of a pig. He then nailed it to the other fisherman's boat. When the other fisherman saw this, he was so afraid of the consequences of having such a thing nailed to his boat that he removed it, sold the boat, and bought a new one. To someone not familiar with this pig taboo, it must seem excessive. No pork products allowed on ship. If you must speak of pigs, you may only refer to them via code words, like curly tails or pink skins. It is thought that pigs are such bad luck that even an absent-minded BLT provided by a well-meaning spouse can mean a poor catch that day, or even for the rest of the season. Why, though, you may ask? Why go through such lengths to avoid pigs on boats? The first thought many people have is that it may have something to do with police or even some sort of religious observance. But, oddly enough, it is actually based in old observations from the days of sail. People would often find ships that had pigs as cargo aimlessly adrift out to sea. When searched, they would find the whole crew dead. This happened frequently enough that many captains started to refuse work if pigs were involved. This, over time, has slowly grown from a refusal to have pigs as cargo to the complete avoidance we see today. What killed those men, though? Why, according to some, anthrax. You see, pig immune systems are very close to those of humans. So, if pigs get sick, they are likely to spread the disease to the humans who are living in cramped close quarters with them. Anthrax is the most aggressive of these pig-to-people diseases, and was quite common during various points in history. Due to this, many believe that it would have been quite easy for one anthrax-ridden pig that got on board could easily kill off an entire crew, and that this happened enough times to warrant fear among seafarers. Bananas. So we have some ideas as to why pigs are avoided, but why bananas? Good source of potassium, good shelf life. It seems that bananas would be a good food to bring on long journeys. So why is it that when on board a ship, the crew refers to bananas as curved yellow fruit? It turns out for a very similar reason to pigs. You see, in the places where bananas are grown, black widows are also common. These spiders frequently lay their eggs in banana bushels. So, while out to sea, when the people have no way off from the ship, the eggs hatch. The excessive number of spiders on board, coupled with the cramped quarters of the people, resulted in the same silent drifting ghost ships as those that contained pigs. Women. Now, not so much, but in the days of sail, it was said that women were bad luck on ships. This was said to be because the sea itself was a woman, and would see the men of the ship paying more attention to the woman on board than her. So she would send terrible storms to knock the female invader off the ship. There were several ways to avoid the wrath of the sea, though. The first was to dress the woman as a man, disguising her from the glare of the sea. The second was to have many women on board and ban relationships. This way, the sea would not grow jealous of any romantic tensions on board. But if women were bad luck, why is it that so many ships are named after women? And why are so many figureheads female? This brings me to the last method. It is said that as quick as the sea is to jealousy, she is also quick to embarrassment. So, by the ship being female, the sea is shocked at how many people she allows to handle her. In the days of sail, people were quite reserved, and so, having a topless woman as a figurehead of a ship was seen as a way to shock the sea into embarrassment. If you happened to be in a situation where a woman was on board, and a storm comes despite the other methods, an extreme measure was to have all the women topless, to try and be even more shocking to the sea. All of this silly anthropomorphizing of the sea as a fickle woman aside, women on ships was a serious issue to seafarers. At sea, you are trapped in close quarters with other people in very stressful situations. So, a lover's quarrel could mean life or death to everyone on board. As such, everyone on ship was expected to remain chaste until landfall. There certainly are many exceptions to this rule throughout history, however. Female captains and pirates did exist. However, to avoid quarrel, strict rules and orders of command are required. And, if a captain is not up to the task of keeping their crew in line, such as in a very large ship, or with many crew members who are unfamiliar with each other, it seems simpler to restrict crew members to those unlikely to form relationships. Tattoos. Tattoos were used as good luck charms and symbols of achievement. One would get particular tattoos to commemorate a significant event, such as crossing the Atlantic or traveling past the equator. A sailor in days of old wore his resume on his very skin. Other tattoos were for luck. Despite the pig avoidance discussed prior, a common tattoo would be to get a pig tattooed on one foot and a rooster on another. It was thought that these two animals hated the water, and so if you fell in, they would spur you on to swim faster. The number of tattoos in terms of design and purpose were as varied as those who wore them, and the meanings of each tattoo were often very close to the individual themselves. Sailors would sit around and show each other their various pieces of artwork, and have long discussions as to the meaning and symbolism behind each one. So that was 5 strange seafaring superstitions. I will be making videos like this periodically between book recordings. Did you enjoy this video? Then subscribe for more, and be sure to check me out on Facebook and Patreon. Thank you for listening, and have a lovely evening.